You created some amazing original artwork and now you want to be able to sell prints of it. But how do you do that? After 14 years of making and selling art prints of my work, let me show you my process of how I make my art prints. Selling prints is a great way to get more of your work out there, be seen by more people, and of course earn more money instead of just a one-time sale of the original artwork itself. And there are a ton of different options in order to do this. I'm going to show you my process of making prints and give you as many tips along the way as I can. Alright, so the first thing you got to do to make prints of your original artwork is somehow scan it and get it onto the computer. Now I'll talk about getting your larger artwork scanned here in a minute, but if you are a little more technically inclined and make small artwork, I highly recommend investing in a flatbed scanner. It might cost you a couple $100 or so to do so for a consumer model, but it's going to save you time and money. Just a quick couple things to keep in mind here before I talk about the larger scans. Skip ahead to that if you'd like. But for the technically savvy going this route, you want a scanner that allows you to choose your color profile in your scanned art. So ProPhoto RGB is the ideal color profile to scan at. Second to that would be Adobe RGB 1998, followed by sRGB. Now, not all scanners will allow you to choose the color profile, but basically this is the range of colors that are scanned and will be embedded within your file. So ProPhoto has the widest, best range of colors, and sRGB has the smallest range of colors, which could limit or somewhat alter the colors that show up in your printed artwork. You also ideally want to be able to scan at 16-bit if possible instead of 8-bit, and you want to scan at a minimum of 300 dots per inch, or it might be listed as pixels per inch. 300 dots per inch is the optimum to print at. Now, one quick tip here, you need your artwork and the scanner glass to be in direct contact with each other. Otherwise, the scan might come out blurry, so try adding a little bit of weight on top to push your artwork down if needed. And you can see here the weight did not leave any creases in the original here. And lastly, you're not just limited to the size of the scanner itself. There's plenty of software, maybe even some free options where you can stitch multiple scans together to create a single file of maybe a medium-sized piece of art. And once you have your completed scan ready, you are ready to work with a print shop, which I'll talk about in a minute. Okay, let's say you have a really large painting like this one. This is 30 by 42. So for really large pieces of art, you're going to want to send it into a professional to get scanned. So let me show you the scan I have on that. So this is it's a TIFF. It's 680 megabyte file here. But you can see, check out the detail here of all the little words. You can even see like my little watercolor brush marks here. So super high quality. A little side note, so all the words here are telling the history of wolves in North America. Just a little behind the scenes on the piece itself. But anyways, yeah, very high quality scan here of all the little details, even in these really dark areas. Now, finding somebody who does scanning of artwork can be tricky. So here are a few little tips that might make it a little bit easier for you. First, obviously try Googling it, fine art scanning in my area or something to that effect. If you can't find anybody through that way, just try Googling fine art printing near me. And you want to look for small, local, independent printers for a variety of reasons, which I'll get into in a minute. But oftentimes, those people will also do the scanning as a part of their printing business. Printing is normally like the big thing that they do, but obviously scanning goes hand in hand with it. So a lot of times they do both. And if you still can't find somebody, try a local mom and pop frame shop. Not like a Michael's or anything like that. You want a small independent, there's one shop, that's all they do is they have their own little independent frame shop. They'll often not only know somebody who does printing, but scanning, and most likely that's going to be the same person. In my experience, all those little small independent local shops, they all sort of feed and facilitate business for each other instead of pushing it out to, larger companies. Okay, so we got high quality scans of our artwork. Now, what we're gonna get is a proof of our scanned image. Now, this is a huge benefit in working with a small print shop, you know, a little mom and pop print shop. In every one of my experiences, they will give you your proofs for free rather than if you were to order some prints online. If you wanted to proof it first, you're gonna have to pay for them. And second of all, a lot of online printers aren't consistent with their printing because print-on-demand services and things like that, they'll use different printers based on location, how busy they are, order size. So years ago, I proofed a image from an online printer, and then when I went and printed 25 copies of it, none of them matched the proof. So it was basically a waste of money. So again, I always would lean towards a local print shop or a small print shop where you're working one-on-one with an individual. A small little local print shop, their art is in the printing. So they also want the print to be the best, highest quality they can for you. Whereas again, online printers or big companies that do printing, they might just be hitting print and whatever comes off the printer they're going to mail to you. So any tweaks you need to make before your final printing, that local printer is going to be able to make them for you to make sure you're completely happy with your print before you start selling them. That's all going to be part of their service that they're providing for you. Look for small local printers. They're going to be the biggest help, and they're going to give you one-on-one guidance throughout the process. So with those final tweaks now applied to your proof, that file is now ready for the final prints. But let me just show you one extra thing that I like to do on my prints, and a good local printer can do all this for you if you need them. So I got my print sized here to what I want it to, which is a 13 by 18, 300 dots per inch. So what I do on my prints is I like to have a little 1-inch border all around. And so it's like this. Once we have our physical print in hand and it's ready for signing, I'll explain all the benefits of having this white border. But now our artwork is ready to be printed. A quick interruption. Now, if you're still watching this video, you might be looking for a good small-time printer that will help you with all the things I'm explaining and talking about here, getting the best, highest quality prints of your work. And so, I wanted to let you all know, I am now providing printing services. So if you need help with your art prints, photo prints, fine art prints, whatever it may be, reach out. And when I talk about all the things a good local printer should do, small mom and pop printer should do, those are services I'm going to provide for you if you want to print with me. And I will also ship prints because I have a lot of experience there as well. The one exception being I cannot do large format scanning. That is one thing I still send out to do. But if you're looking for a printer that's going to be consistent and high quality, pay attention to those details, feel free to send me an email or drop me a comment, and I'd love to do some printing for you. Okay, so while it's printing here, one thing I don't want to get too much into, but again, a printer is going to be able to help you. There are all sorts of different kinds of paper, and depending on the purpose of your print, whether it's open edition, limited edition. Open edition just means unnumbered, so like you might print 1,000,000 of them, right? There's all sorts of different qualities of paper, and even if a paper is archival, it might contain what are called optical brightening agents, which essentially means there's chemicals in the paper that make it that white. And even after just a few years, even if it's archival, even after a few years, sort of ultra white paper with these optical brightening agents will start to turn yellow and fade a little bit. So that's the one thing that I would just be a little bit careful with. You don't want fine art prints that are numbered and really expensive to be printed on papers with optical brightening agents, because even within a few years, they might already be changing colors despite their archival quality. So it's best in those cases to use a natural paper. But that's not to say if you have unnumbered open edition prints that you're printing, thousands and thousands of, you might then use paper with those optical brightening agents because if your print is only $15, $20, you might be okay if the paper turns yellow or the colors fade after a shorter period of time. Now I'm going to cut my print down and I'll show you how I sign them. Okay, so there we have our full print here. Let me get you in really close here to get a look at all those details and the sharpness. And this is all due to not only the high quality scan, but also printing on a top quality printer at 300 dots per inch. And of course, the quality of the paper. So you get all those things going for you. You can see all of this is still readable. This is a 13 by 18 print of a piece of artwork that was originally 30 inches by 42 inches. So you can see even scaling it way down, all these words just super sharp and everything is legible and readable, which is super important for all the work that you've put into your own artwork. So when it comes to signing, I like to use a pencil because first of all, pencil is archival. It's not going to fade over time. And a lot of pens over time can degrade the paper. So I go with pencil, and this is also why I like to use this white border. It's got a nice clean spot for me to sign and number my prints. If you don't number your prints, that's perfectly okay, of course. But I have this nice clean section here for my signature. Now, this isn't the best example, but if I had artwork that covered this section entirely, you know, I'd have to be signing over the artwork. And also the white border allows just for that little breathing room where my painting is a little close to the edge. And additionally, and most importantly, when this goes to get matted and framed, you know, when they mat your artwork, it's going to cover up about a 1/4 inch or so on each side. And so it's going to cover your work. And this way, they will cover the white border partially, which I'll show you in a second here. So you can see here again, there's plenty of space for that 1/4 inch of the mat to overlap and hold down our print. And then what I also like to do is write the name of the artwork on the back, and then I sign the back as well, and I number the back as well. And there you have it. So with the white border, here is a framed example. This is a Rusty Patch Bumblebee from the same series, same idea. All these little words tell the history of bumblebees. But you can see, again, on this painting, I was really close to the edges in some spots. And so the white border not only gives us a little bit of breathing room, but the mat doesn't end up covering anything, like any of the little legs or anything. It gives me plenty of room, and also you do get, if you like the double matte look, you do get that sort of impression of it. Just a really clean look, but you especially don't want the matte to cover up part of the painting or drawing or whatever piece of art you made. So that's why I like to use the 1 inch white border. And you could always just go a 1/2 inch white border or, you know, vary it up however you want. Now, if you want help with your prints, feel free to reach out. I love to help you with the printing. But also if you have any more questions or comments or want me to elaborate on any part of my process, feel free to drop them down in the comments or reach out in any way. The paper might already be fading or turning a little yellow. What? What? Hey. She's normally not allowed in here.